Okay, let's work through a bank reconciliation. When you work a bank reconciliation problem, one of the things you want to do is you want to start looking at the top here. Look at the actual problems, the data that's presented for the problem, and start classifying it. Remember we said in class that the left-hand side, starting with the ending bank balance is the easy part, and then going with the books is a little bit more complex, but let's at least do the easy side so we know what cash should come back to. Notice that this is a statement for October 31st, so you're looking for the ending bank balance, and it conveniently gives it to you here. Reported a balance of $34.50 on October 31st. So we'll put $34.50. And then what we add, remember, to the easy side is any deposits in transit. Keep in mind the bank does not know that you have just thrown a deposit into an ATM machine. That's part of the clearing process. So a deposit, until it actually clears the bank, is in transit. And it tells you very conveniently here, an October 31st deposit of $300 did not appear on the bank statement. That's telegraphing the bank does not know about this yet. So let's add the $300. Please, like always, be sure you put in your subtotals. Don't leave stuff blank. In this case, it's $37.50. And then we drop down to the deductions, and here it's pretty easy again. You just subtract the outstanding checks. So add the DITs, the deposits in transit, to the bank balance, the ending bank balance, and then subtract the outstanding checks, which just tells you here it's $1,600. And then it's just a matter of running the total. You know it's $37.50 minus $1,600 is $21.50. So this should be our anchor number. We know that on the right-hand side, where there's a little bit more complexity, we should be able to anchor to that number. So let's look and see on October 31st what our books, what our accounting books show is sitting on the books. You notice here it says whatever. Oh, I'm sorry, I have this wrong. I'm glad I did this wrong. The cash account of regard was $34.50. We don't want the cash account here. What we want is the bank statement amount. It says here, Circle State Bank listed an October 31st balance of $53.87. So we have to revise our subtotal. $56.87, which is the sum of these two. And $56.87 minus $1,600 is $4,087. Be careful, read carefully that, is it talking about the cash account that's on the books? Is this what the company says cash should be? Or is this what the bank says it should be? So here what happened was you need to read carefully. It says, which came from Circle State Bank. It says the bank statement listed an October 31st balance of $53.87. So start with the ending balance for the bank per the bank statement. Add deposits in transit and subtract account outstanding checks. Then you slide over here, and now you're starting with the bank, with the company books. And the cash account in Regard Corporation is $34.50. Now the things we add to the books version of the truth is the things that the books could not possibly know. Or think of it this way: what the books learn by looking at the bank statement. Well, one of the things that the accounting books learn is the amount of interest revenue. So let's go ahead and add interest revenue. You can see here that it says $20 of interest revenue. Another thing is any kind of bank collection. Notice here it says included in the bank balance, that's on the statement, was an October 30 collection of $674 on account from a customer who pays the bank directly. Since this customer pays the bank directly, the books wouldn't know about this until the books look at the bank statement. So we're going to put this as bank collection, and it's a total of $674. As always, go ahead and be sure you put a subtotal, I should say. That's $34.50 plus 20 plus 674, 4,144. Now you subtract what the bank statement is telling the books, because the books couldn't possibly know. One of the things that they tell you is that there's a $17 service charge. So we'll come over here, put $17. Another thing that you deduct from the books, because the books discover this by looking at the bank statement, is that one of the checks that you received, this is a non-sufficient funds check for $40. Somebody, what this means is somebody gave you a check for $40, you deposited it, and this is the bank's way of saying, hey, this check was no good. So that's going to be $40. Come over here and select NSF check. Be sure and put your subtotal, which in this case is 57, the 17 plus the 40, and then we just subtract 4144 from that 57, and we come up to 4,087. You notice the only reason I call the left-hand side simpler and the right-hand side more complex is because the left-hand side just has less elements. It just has deposits in transit and outstanding checks. Another thing you would put here on the bank statement side would be like a bank error, that kind of stuff. But don't hyperventilate about that. Hyperventilate about the fact that you start with ending bank balance. You add the deposits in transit as they're given. These are deposits that have not hit the bank yet, but they're inside the machine. And then outstanding checks, in this case of $1,600, which these are checks that have been written, but they have not been cashed by the person who received the check yet. Now, on the other side, what you do is, this is kind of the middle here between the beginning and the ending, is what the bank statement knows that the books don't know. Well, the books don't know about the interest revenue until they look at the statement. They don't know about this bank collection that comes in. And it's easy for students to say, well, we know every single month the customer is going to send us $674. We don't know that. We don't know that. They might not send anything, or they might send too much, or they might send too little. Until you look at the bank statement, you don't know what you're going to collect. And then deductions are pretty easy. Any checks that are bad, you have to deduct because you truly don't have that money if the check was no good. And then any kind of service charge that happens, this is something that's revealed to you again on the bank statement. This is an example of how you do a bank rec, the easy side and the harder side. And notice that, again, it's important because this gives you an anchor number. So if you don't come back up to this, you've got something wrong in the middle. I hope you found this useful. For purposes of pop quiz, for purposes of test number 2, you have to know how to do a bank rec. I hope this helped.